Hey everybody, this is Justin Cody Worden, Director of Business Development here with Austin American Technology. And of course I have our President and COO, Mr. Todd Roundtree. Why don't you say hi to everybody?
Hello.
Today we've got a very special video. We are here with Kevin and Fernando from KYZEN. Guys, why don't you say hello?
Hello. Hello everybody.
Hey everybody.
All right, so I was going to introduce your guys' last name, but I totally would mess that up. So I know Buckner, that's pretty easy.
That's an easy
Give
one.
us your
That's
last
an
name,
easy
Fernando.
Rueda.
One more time.
Rueda.
All right, so
Roll the R.
Yeah. So, fortunately, you guys already know Todd. Me being the new guy, we got a lot of good questions about some new product you have coming out, especially since we're sitting here in front of our stencil, our X30 Stencil Cleaner. I think this application is going to work pretty well. So, let's start by just telling me, what role do you play over at KYZEN?
I'm the Southwestern Regional Sales Manager. So I started with KYZEN probably 8 years ago now, I think it is. Came over from a machine manufacturer, as it were. So I started on the hardware side of things, and now I've gone to the evil dark side of the chemistry side of things.
Okay.
So I've got a lot of experience, a lot of practical experience on equipment, how equipment works with pumps and sprays and liquid technology, filtration, those kind of things. That plays in to really going out on site with people and helping them understand how their equipment functions, you know, especially all this type of equipment, how it actually functions and where the chemistry actually fits into that. And it builds a real nice relationship between KYZEN and manufacturers such as Austin America, where we can say, let's go in as a team and figure this out for a customer.
Well, that's a very good point. I mean, you're obviously focusing more on the sales side, so you see yourself counseling a lot of your clients or potential clients on chemistry.
Absolutely.
Because I know even sitting here, you know, I joined Austin American a few months ago, and we're sitting here, we get so many questions about chemistry. And,
Yeah,
you know,
it turns into process.
Yeah.
It turns into a process. This is very mechanical, but there's a process that goes along with that. And if you can team up, you can handle that, you can answer any
Don't mind the train. We're in Texas. We got a train line right through our backyard. We're going to power through this thing. This is practically a live video. So again, we thank our guys from KYZEN for being here.
Pleasure.
Fernando, what role do you play?
I'm the America's sales manager. I manage the North and Latin America for
I thought I heard an S there, Americas. So he's going all up and down.
yeah,
Okay.
so, and before that, I used to manage the European market, and that's pretty much the two main roles I play with the company for the last 15 years.
All right, so you got a pretty large territory, and you're just you said Southwest.
I'm very regionalized
Okay.
now. I'm basically Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, and Arizona. That's mine. I gave up 13 West states to focus on a territory instead of.
Sure. So, I mean, you guys both travel. Todd's been waiting to get me on the road so I can get out and travel. But, you know, COVID-19, you know, that's going to date the video, but it's definitely putting us all on notice. So, what are you guys seeing so far with sales, travel restrictions?
Well, sales, Fernando answered the sales question better than I can answer it, but as far as the travel goes, it's just been restricted. You know, you better be able to do it on the phone, or you better be able to do it through a Zoom meeting, and if you can't do it through either one of those, boy, you're in trouble. People's mailboxes are filling up, so they're not answering emails, they're not answering telephone calls. You know, it's just a tough market right now. It really is, but.
And that's just traveling within the United States.
And that's just local.
I can only imagine the international side is even more restricted.
No international travel so far. That doesn't mean that everything stopped internationally. Things keep going. There are lots of essential businesses still working, and that's good for the sales side. And we are on the consumable side of the business, so people stay active. We are part of their supplier pool, especially for all these essential businesses. So business still goes virtually, but it goes.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has to. And I mean, you can see here with what we've done. I mean, we essentially took our demo room and made it as virtual as we can. You know, we got foam. I'm introducing Todd to a whole new world. We got a microphone on him. You're wearing a microphone. We're standing in front of a camera. You know, but this is what we have to do.
That's exactly right. No, I agree.
The market doesn't stop. Sales don't stop.
Right.
Client needs don't stop. But you know, we have to adjust the way we. You know, I'm younger than you guys, but you know, I know what it's like to hit the road and try to make sales, and it's just not an option right now.
Yeah, and we're very fortunate with the marketplaces that we serve. That business does not shut down. You know, we're into the high reliability type marketplaces. We're not into the iPhones, the computers, those kind of things. We're in that much higher end world, so it doesn't shut down. It may slow down, but it doesn't have a shutdown. So
Yeah, I was listening to, I've been doing a lot of Joe Rogan podcasts, listening to that. I got a good little commute, so I listened to his podcast, kind of, it's a better way to get some news and kind of hear what other people are thinking about. And a couple of my neighbors work in the beer industry. So when we talk about COVID and how it's impacted us, but it doesn't shut us down, the beer industry, even with all the bars and restaurants closed, saw a 20% increase.
That does not
in
surprise me
sales.
at all. I may be responsible for a little bit of that. Just saying, just a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So should we just wrap this up and head over to the craft?
There we go. We're out. That's it. Enough business.
We
Perfect.
can bring the camera with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we shouldn't. I don't know. That might be a bad idea.
Yeah.
We'll show them how business is really done. No,
That's right.
Well, I'm going to let Todd take over. Todd, why don't you introduce the machine we're sitting in front of and kind of bring it all full circle why we're sitting here today.
Yeah, so we kind of set up in front of our X30 stencil and misprint cleaner. We'll do PCBs as well, but more or less we wanted to kind of introduce, I'll call it a new chemistry. It's really not new or terribly new. You guys did introduce this at Apex this year, so it's been around. So, but anyhow, it's the E5631 Stencil Cleaner. So I want to learn a little bit more about it, what its applications are. What it works best on, that type of stuff from you guys. But also, I'm kind of curious to hear how it's been with introducing or trying to pitch a new chemistry when you haven't been able to go out and pitch a new chemistry.
It's been very interesting. Let's just put it that way. Very interesting. Well, the Kyzen, the E series chemistries they're just a different brand, a different breed all the way around. That specific, the 5631, is a very versatile chemistry. It loves to go in ultrasonics or immersion or spray and air like the X30 unit itself. And this is a legacy unit. Oh, yeah. If there's one thing about this is a tried and true professional unit. We know that. We're in the field. We see it all the time. And I've only been doing this for, I think my penalty clause started 14 years ago, and I'm still paying my debts to society, apparently.
And you guys actually have one in your demo facility,
yeah,
right?
We do.
I think it might be one of the first generation ones when I remember seeing it last
time.
time.
And funnily enough, when I actually started with Kyzen, the first actual sales call that I went onto was putting chemistry in Phoenix, Arizona, into one of these units itself.
It was probably one of those original machines from 1988.
That does not surprise me.
He brings me on the new sales guy. I'm all gung-ho, like, we're going to do this. And he goes, well, we still have machines from 1988. So I'm like,
they're
still functioning.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
You want me to go sell new ones?
Yeah, that's the problem. It still functions. But the chemistry itself, 5631, fantastic chemistry, loves going into all different environments. It's a very versatile chemistry. So it's going to handle your organic acids, it's going to handle your no cleans, your resin-based materials, it's going to handle your rosin-based material sets. And one of the nice things about it is it also handles adhesives. Now we're talking different concentrations. So you may start out at simple applications, organic acids, right around 10%. You start going into the adhesives, we're going to push it up in that 25, 30% range, somewhere in there. But it's a very, very versatile chemistry. It's one chemistry that fits all when it goes into something like this, for sure.
So the question I would have then, and this might come back towards you, is, and again, it's coming from the new guy, so this may not be a question that most people ask, but is this chemistry replacing? Is it an upgrade from something people are already running? What's kind of the sales process or the thought process behind that?
The Kyzen name means continuous improvement. So we are always trying to adapt to the market, to new technologies, and to improve our products. Right? No product is perfect. There's always room for improvement. Sure. So this is a combination of that. And we wanted to create a more comprehensive and versatile product for the customers. Okay? And mainly to also maintain our philosophy of the product working the same throughout the entire life of that product. Okay? Some products start working very well, but as you use them, they decline in performance and their battery life dies very quickly. Our product, our philosophy is same performance from day one until the last day you are able to use that product. Okay? That's one of the key parts of our criteria designing products. And we added the versatility, like Kevin said, can be used in ultrasonics, spray, immersion, solder paste, adhesives.
Well, I imagine, Todd, you might know more about this. I mean, we're constantly having conversations about reinvesting and upgrading our technology within our own machines. It may be here from 1988, but I'm sure the internal components are quite advanced compared to what they were back then.
Right.
But even for you, I mean, we come across new fluxes, solder paste. Those are constantly reinventing and upgrading, which means you have to change, which means we have to change. You know,
And that's one of the nice things about having our own lab. We have our own lab staff. And the nice thing about that is we work very well with those manufacturers. So they come out with something new, they'll send us a batch and say, here, test this and tell us, can we actually clean this? No clean, you can never clean no clean, but everyone does. But so we'll take that into the lab and we'll put it into the equipment and we'll fool around with it and see if it's actually friendly or not friendly, or if we have to change something. And that's what drives our lab into finding new products like 5631. Just to say, well, they've made this slight little change, they've done something, they've added something that we don't know about, but that's not working, so what can we add to make, like dissolve like, and maybe we can reformulate something to these newer products that will help them work. So all we do is we just take a simple note, we shove it under the door of the lab, we lock the door, and when they figure something out, they can come out. It's easy.
I mean, it's the ultimate domino or butterfly effect, within this little industry. The guy changes the flux in the very beginning, or the conductor and all that, and then before you know it, we're having to put a whole new rose tester in one of our machines. So,
exactly.
So that's awesome. So Todd, how long has AET been running Kyzen chemistries in our machines?
I mean, I really think since inception.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, our companies have worked together for many, many years, even before I joined the company. So,
yeah, Steve Statch, our founder, of course, has done several white papers, I think, written with, with your team as well, and we hope to continue that. I know we recently put one of our Mega SA solvent-based cleaners at your facility, and we're kind of working right now together on trying to develop, a white paper and some applications on that.
Absolutely. So, becomes a partnership. It's really nice, really nice. And I know that sounds clichéic. I know it does. But we have to partner up with guys like yourselves, because you're coming across new things all the time. That drives your innovation to improve your equipment, and it does the same thing for us.
Plus, we also get real-time feedback on, when someone has a new product that all of a sudden it's, hey, we're having a problem cleaning this. So, at first we kind of come to us as far as a machine, and look at it and say, is there anything we can do better to get under the parts or whatever better, but then we can also relay our findings to you or any of our chemistry partners.
Absolutely.
And just kind of say, hey, have you guys seen this, and kind of go down that road to fix it.
Yeah, the one thing I have enjoyed so far coming in this industry is there's a lot of honesty and integrity when it comes to these things, because I'm not a chemist. I think you don't wear the chemist hat, and I'm guessing in sales you don't either, but it's good to know that you have that resource, you have that lab at home to where we can make up an answer and tell you, and maybe that makes you feel good for 5 minutes, but when the product comes back, it might be the wrong answer.
Proof is always in the pudding. It's got to come back clean. If it doesn't come, I mean, that's what we're in the basis of. We're in the basis of getting something clean for somebody. And if it doesn't come back clean, guess what? That all falls onto our.
Well, that brings up an interesting conversation to have, because when you're face to face, it's a lot easier to, read someone's emotions, see where the conversation's going. It makes sales a lot easier. Maybe it's because it's harder for someone to tell you no. But now going over to this virtual, where we're having these conversations in front of cameras and we're doing these virtual testings and virtual demonstrations, I'm wondering how that's going to change the sales process as far as, not having that answer right away and being able to say, hey, let me go get that answer and come back to you, because that may prolong the process and you guys schedule a whole nother Zoom call. Have you seen any challenge with that so far?
We're lucky. We're lucky because we can hedge our bet. Okay, we already do a lot of testing with a lot of the companies, so we understand like dissolving like I said before. We understand what products in our arsenal that we have that we could put into a machine like the X30, but have an understanding of it's going to work before we actually put it in there and understand it's going to work. Our next section would be to implore our lab to actually put some testing together, to get some product, because we can reflow product, we can put components onto boards in our facility, and we can actually clean that product. Once we've done cleaning the product, we can then test that product. We can start removing devices, we can take photographs, we can run ion chromatography, we can run all sorts of different tests on it to get data. And if we can get data, the most important part that I can turn to you is, yes, it's clean, and you can feel confident that with this and that chemistry, you're going to get clean parts. And if we can do that, we've got it. We've got the sale. I mean, it's hard to undo that once you've already
True.
done it. So.
Well, I would say one other thing. Can you tell me a little bit more about 5631 though? So, you know, we've loaded it in the X30 here. We've run it a little bit. It's very low foaming. One of the things that we've noticed. So I'm guessing that's kind of an attribute from it. Is there anything else you can kind of let us know about the chemistry?
We try to make it as friendly as possible, both for the users and for the environment. So you're going to have a low odor. It's not going to create a lot of smell in the room. In there, you're going to be able to use it at room temperature, so no foaming usually, unless there is some external contributing factor.
True.
Okay.
Water soluble flux.
So, but we also try to make it as affordable as possible for the customers. And that doesn't necessarily mean, you know, a lower cost per gallon. It means that you are able to use the product in the most efficient way. You know, and it could be a combination of both, lower cost per gallon and lower process cost. Okay, but that's the one of the big advantages of this product, and the KYZEN E line is all focused on that, on try to make it as friendly for the environment, for the user, for your budget. You know, it's an overall winner in my opinion.
And is it sold just as a concentrate, or is it you guys sell it as a premix as well?
That's a slippery slope to get into. And I'll tell you why. Because if I'm selling a concentrate material set, if I dilute it for you, all I'm doing is adding water to it.
Right.
And you're getting half as much, basically, for the same amount of money. So, you know, yes, it is sold as a diluted chemistry as well as a concentrate.
Well, I asked really for, you know, maybe for some of my competitors, because, you know, my competitors, of course, are using an ultrasonic machine that, you know, doesn't have a mixing pump or a dosing pump or something like that to actually do it. So it can be a little messy, I'm sure, if they're trying to mix it themselves.
The pre-diluted version of the product is very practical for people that don't have the capability to mix at their own facility. It also comes very handy when you try to put this product in printers. Use the underside wipe print in the printer. This product can also do that. That's something that we haven't mentioned yet, but it's also able to work in the printer. And the pre-diluted version works very well for that type of customer. You don't have to worry about, do I have the right concentration or not, and that comes very handy.
The one I want to bring up is you said the word environment a few times, and it's 2020. I mean, the whole world is on fire. There's hurricanes hitting every other weekend. I think I heard this week they ran out of names. So, you know, that's a very important thing. And I don't know, we don't have to go down that rabbit hole too much, but I know, you know, that's a big focus here is, you know, that going green goal. You know, most of our equipment, or almost all of them, come, you know, with a closed loop or fully closed loop application. So on the side of KYZEN with that, I mean, just as you're researching the new fluxes and the new solder paste, you're probably having to see what type of impact you're having on the environment as well.
And our products, as a general rule, are biodegradable. Okay. So now the problem is that the customers don't want to dispose of our products before using them. So,
before using them.
So now you get once you use our product, you're going to have different contaminants in there, fluxes, solder paste, different materials in there, and then it's not up to us whether that has an environmental impact or not. Okay, the contaminants are the ones deciding how big that impact is.
Well, there's more than just environmental. When you talk about environmental, you also have to focus on the handling side of it. I mean, you got people dumping this into their machines. You know, there's always going to be some sort of spray effect, people getting on their skin. I know a lot of people try to stay as, you know, contaminant free as possible, but it happens. So I'm guessing being environmental friendly also means that it's safe for handling as well.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Very much so. They're especially stencil cleaning products tend to be safe by nature. They have a neutral pH. most of them, at least. So they don't tend to be as aggressive for the user.
It's not the formal solvent world. The word solvent is
Right,
really,
right.
we talked about this before. It doesn't fall into that solvent brand that scares people so much. A drop on your skin and all of a sudden you have a hole through your hand.
Right.
It doesn't fall into that wrong at all. No, we would still recommend glasses and gloves and gown and safety, of course, being number one, but it doesn't form into that. It's more of the alcohol-based, type solvency.
So you just need to use the usual common sense
Right.
safety measures, because even with hand soap, would you let hand soap in your eyes?
Of course not.
No. So same thing with any chemical you use at home or you use in your factory or whatever, you need to take the normal precautions that you would take with a chemical.
That's good.
So it's nothing out of the ordinary. You're not going to have to rush to the emergency room or anything like that. It's just wash your hands and that's it.
Awesome.
One of the last things, Todd, just to mention, especially on this type of machinery, the 5631, is the free rinsing, the free rinsability of the product itself.
Okay.
It really will, it likes water. It will flush off really clean with water.
Okay.
So where you may be seeing in different applications, different style machines, 5 to 7 to 10 rinses in a machine like this, you're talking probably 1 to 2 rinses, maybe 3 rinses. So go back to the environmentally, the less water you use, the less water that's effluent going out of your facility,
Right.
that makes a big difference to customers. So being the free rinsability of that chemistry. So
Yeah.
It also plays into the overall cost, the ROI.
Sure
of the
does.
machine. I mean,
Absolutely.
The product might be a little bit more expensive, but if you cut down from 7 washes to 1 washes,
right.
and I know with us, we've invested a lot of time and resources into developing the drying aspect of this too.
Right,
That's why you
right,
see
right.
our machine is up in the air instead
Yeah.
of sitting inside. So
Right.
that's as good as well, because that's going to cut down on the overall money that
Sure.
not
Sure.
the engineer, but the person cutting the check is going to be worried
That's
about.
exactly right. I agree.
Yeah. So we'll wrap this up real quick. Just a few questions. You said it came out, or you launched it or introduced it at Apex last year, right?
Correct.
How's the
This year.
reception? Oh, this year, yeah.
Yeah.
How's the
This year.
reception been so far?
The product was introduced formally to the market during Apex this
Okay.
year, but the product had been already running on multiple sites internationally for over a year with very good results.
Oh, that's great to hear.
So, and so far so good, especially in the market like Mexico, for example, is still very active on the manufacturing side. We keep getting new customers every week. We get 1 or 2 new customers with this product because it brings that versatility, and with all the other characteristics of being environmentally safe, user safe, and all that, but it brings versatility at a very moderate cost. And in most cases, we are able to reduce the process cost with this product.
Absolutely, because we always get the constant question, how much water do I need to supply to the machine?
Right.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah. Yeah.
And really what they're asking is, how long is this thing going to rinse for?
Yeah.
Or how long do I have to rinse this thing
Yeah,
for?
exactly.
So,
Exactly.
well, I learned a lot, but I'm the new guy, so I'm soaking everything up with a sponge. What about you, Todd? You got any other questions for these guys?
The only other thing I would say is just, for our video purposes, if you guys can just let us know how does anybody get in touch with you?
Of course, KYZEN.com is always the best place. Always go to the website. Go to the website. You will learn more than you ever cared to learn about cleaning and cleaning chemistry for sure. My email address, Kevin_Buckner at KYZEN.com. I can be reached. We are out on the road. I know that we're not out on the road, but we are on the road. We sometimes take plane flights, driving cars, those kind of things. But normally our turnaround is quicker than 12 hours on any email that comes into our system.
No, that's very good. What about you, Fernando?
It's the same Fernando_Rueda, RUEDA.
With the rolling R's.
Yeah.
Rolling R's.
We'll go ahead and we'll make sure we're edit that right underneath the bottom of your name.
So at KYZEN.com, but we have in our website, we have a live chat
Oh, okay.
that people can use to ask questions and get direction. We have multiple ways of contacting our team globally. We have, I think, more than 30 salespeople around the globe. So we are easy to reach through our website, and the live chat. If you need something quick, they'll answer the questions.
Somebody's always willing to talk to you.
Yeah.
That's one thing about a sales company. They're always willing to talk.
Yeah, well, Todd, anything else?
And really just in closing for us, we do keep demo machines available. So if you guys or anybody out there is interested in trying the 5631 on their actual application, we'd be more than happy to run it. Of course, KYZEN has an X30 at their facility as well.
Yes, we do.
They would be more than willing, I'm sure, to do testing there,
Absolutely.
as well as any other needs you guys have for any cleaning applications, I'm sure. But other than that, I just want to thank you guys for coming in and visiting with us.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for the invite. Really appreciate
very,
it.
very thankful. And above just their website, they are very active on social media. I've wanted to allow just following KYZEN on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Get on there. We're all starting to see a wave. I think the younger crowd, that's why Todd brought me in. We're going to start getting out there on LinkedIn. We'll update your guys' headshots. There's a lot of good videos out there. This has been a lot of fun, guys. I appreciate you taking the time and teaching me all about the new 5631. And that's all, folks. We'll see you.
Cheers up.
See you.